What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sterling from ENT, and welcome back to ENT Fantasy Football. Before we get right into the video, make sure you go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit the comment button, and comment whatever you think about this video. Before it starts, just make a comment. I don't even care. Just go in there, leave a comment. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Today's video is buy low, sell high for week 9. So this is players that I think you can sell high on, get more value for in fantasy football than you typically would, and players that you can buy low on. So players that I think have underperformed a little bit, or players whose value is down that you can trade for and buy low, and you can get your value, better value than what you're giving up for them. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I have 5 players that I'm going to talk about. So yep, let's get into it. The first player on my sell high list is Jets rookie running back Michael Carter. Carter's coming off the best game of his career in Week 8, and the 2 weeks prior, in Weeks 6 and 7, he put up respectable double-digit fantasy games. Carter looks like a talented runner, but he's always going to be in negative game scripts, with the Jets always playing from behind. During this recent stretch of good games Carter has put up, he's averaging 8.5 targets a game, which is likely not going to continue. In his big breakout game in Week 8, Carter had 14 targets, which is a complete outlier game. And unless something crazy happens, it won't happen again. Also, considering that Ty Johnson gets a lot of work in the passing game and takes a chunk of Carter's carries, I can see Carter being a low-end RB2 rest of season for fantasy, and I would try to move on from Carter while his value is at the highest, and target a more consistent and more established running back 2 or wide receiver 2. The next player on my sell high list is Ravens wide receiver Marquise Brown. So far this season, Brown has had a true breakout year. And for fantasy, he's the wide receiver 10 in half-point PPR scoring formats so far this year. So on paper, that all sounds great. But the problem to me with Hollywood Brown is that the way he's been scoring his fantasy points has been very big play dependent and very touchdown dependent. And due to this, he's shown some inconsistencies so far this season and throughout his whole career. Add this to the debut of rookie wide receiver Rashad Bateman, who already has shown to have a big role in the Ravens' offense. Bateman's role is only going to grow from here and hinder the production of Marquise Brown. It's not that I believe Marquise Brown isn't going to produce going forward, it's just that I'd prefer to move on to a high-end to mid-level wide receiver 2 who's a bit more stable in his role and who's more consistent and not so much of a boomer-bust player week to week. The third and final player I'm selling high on today is Patriots running back Damien Harris. Harris has been on a great 3-game stretch recently, where he's averaging 18.5 fantasy points per game. But 2 of those matchups were against the Jets and Chargers, who both have bottom 5 rushing defenses. And his upcoming schedule is one of the toughest schedules for running backs, and he's got the second worst fantasy playoff schedule for running backs, where in the first 2 rounds of the fantasy playoffs, he plays 2 top 5 rushing defenses back-to-back, against the Colts in Week 15 and the Bills in Week 16. Add to this the history of inconsistent running backs under Bill Belichick, and it doesn't seem like a recipe for success, especially with young running backs Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden getting larger roles in the Patriots offense recently. I'd look to move on from Harris while his value is very high right now. Now on to the buy low portion of this video. The first player on my buy low list and my personal favorite buy low option this week and probably for the next few weeks in fantasy football is Denver Broncos rookie running back Javonte Williams. Now, so far this season, the rookie has gotten off to a good start and is in basically an even 50-50 split with Melvin Gordon in the Broncos' backfield, which in my opinion will likely start to favor Williams more and more as the season goes on. Williams is already getting targeted more in the passing game than Gordon, and only has 9 less carries on the season than Gordon on the year. Add to this the fact that Williams has literally the number 1 easiest strength of schedule for the running back position the rest of the season. Right now, Williams is already a solid flex play, and if his role continues to grow, he's only going to be a better and better option. Now, the Broncos just traded Von Miller to the Rams, which to me shows that they're starting to look more towards the future than building for the present. Hopefully they continue this by giving a bigger role to their stud rookie running back, and considering his rest of season schedule being the easiest in all of the NFL, if you buy low on Javonte Williams, I think he can possibly be a league winner. For the final player of today's video, and the first and only tight end on this list, is the Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert. With Zach Ertz recently being traded to the Arizona Cardinals, Goedert is set to have a much expanded role in the offense. and this already shown in the past 2 weeks without Zach Ertz. Goedert led the Eagles in receiving yards, and in Week 8 had a season-high 7 targets. For the rest of the season, I see Goedert as being one of the safest tight ends in fantasy football. With a very high floor and the talent to have a big game here and there, I see Goedert as being a top 7 tight end rest of season. And if I'm a fantasy owner who doesn't have a top-tier tight end like Kelsey, Waller, Andrews, Pitts, or Hawkinson, I'll definitely try to target Dallas Goedert. That's the conclusion of today's video, buy low, sell high for Week 9. I appreciate everybody for watching this video. Make sure you go down below and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more videos on ENT Fantasy Football. We have podcasts dropping every week, and here and there we'll be dropping other separate videos that stand on their own. So thank you very much for watching today's video. I'm out of here.